It was like they all wanted to make an appearance. Good morning, good morning. Thank you, Ashley. Got me. Okay. Good morning, niece. Now you know you too loud. Echo. Stop. You know good and well that was too loud, Echo. We was having a nice, chill, easy going morning. How's everybody? Very nice, Karina. Okay, well, we ain't at 100. That's okay. It's either the song or the 100. We're going to get started. Now, bear in mind, when I pause, I'm drinking some coffee. I've been awake since a little bit after 3. So, y'all going to have to bear with me this Monday morning. So, who are we going to start with? I think I'm going to start with Kiki. Oh, and I want you guys to start thinking about this. I'm not going to do it until later, but there's going to be a poll about Friday mornings live because you're still in bed. Stay in bed and just listen, girl. Relax. Um, because Friday is July the 4th, usually when there are high holidays, I try to do it a little bit later, let everybody get some time to rest and maybe be late enough that people who can't normally catch me can catch me. So there's going to be a poll that goes up that you guys can kind of give me some direction about what time you want it to be. But that'll be a little bit later, like around 8 or so. Okay, let's start with Kiki because hold on, guys. Apparently, I didn't download the photos. 1 second. Even though. Hold on, guys. Apparently, I didn't download the photos. 1 second. Even though. So, I don't know if she just changed the name to an account, whether this is a new account or what. Good morning for everybody just coming in. So, when I got her live, she clearly looked like she was crying. Now, later on in the day, she tried to say she just didn't feel good, but it was more than that. And the reason why I know it was more than that is because what she started to talk about. So, if y'all recall, the last time I spoke about her, it was that I was upset that she was saying things about the man she was with in front of her daughter. She said things like she didn't care if he had 100 babies on her, she would still marry him, that he's her husband, he's her baby daddy. At one point, she thought that another girl was pregnant by him, so then she claimed she was pregnant by him and she didn't care and blah blah blah. And I just was like, does she not understand that her daughters are hearing and watching her? And if this is what you're going to accept, you are going to send the message to your daughters that this is okay? You have already sent the message to your daughters that it is okay to not have a job, to live on the state when you are clearly able bodied, and that it's okay to live in a hotel for a long time. It's okay to have all these children you can't afford. And since the first one, she's never afforded one properly. But you have told us over and over and over again that you almost passed away having the second set of twins, and you want to turn around and just get pregnant again before you have your life in order? Good morning, everyone. So that's the last time I spoke about her. But yesterday, she was crying and upset because of her baby daddy. Now, I have a reason why that annoyed me. Because this isn't the first, second, or third time she's complained about him. Oh, that's cute. Thank you. That's not the first, second, or third time that she has complained about him. She revealed that he's bisexual to everybody. And a lot of women were like, yeah, I couldn't put up with that, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, no, and I'm a woman of God, and this, that, and the third. We all remember her getting baptized with the kids and the money grab that went on with that. And how she was by herself. She'd rather be by herself and take care of her children. This, that, and the third. They weren't even, according to her audience, they weren't even on speaking terms until the baby girl got sick. And then all of a sudden she was like, he might not be there for me, but he there for his kids. When? When has he been there for his kids? Because as far as we can see, the only parent, the only one doing anything at all is you. But I feel like all of that was a soft landing to reintroduce him into our lives without reintroducing him. Because she would be up cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner when you see Kiki do that. And I mean real food. She never showed him on camera except in the hospital. But people could tell by the way she was acting, dressing, behaving, the hours that she was on, that he was back around. Okay, it's your life. It's your baby daddy. You can be with who you want to be with. But you dragged him through the mud not that long ago. So yesterday, now remember, when there was another girl that might have been pregnant, she could have cared less. But now she's complaining because she thinks he's off with another man. Isn't cheating cheating regardless of who you cheat with? But I have a theory. This is my opinion and my opinion only. In her mind, she looks good, she's pretty, she has beautiful children, she in her mind has her life together. So in her mind, another woman doesn't compare. Like, you're always going to be a side piece, I'm going to be the wife. But I think when it comes to another man, she cannot compete. And that's why it bothers her so bad. Because I don't understand why one would bother you more than the other when it comes to cheating. But look at what she has now. Let me find it. Look what's right back up. You didn't just spend all this money on this apartment. You were throwing it in everybody's face that you had gotten your stuff together. You're no longer in the hotel. Blada blada. And this is now what we're promoting. You and your family need a new start. You just had a new start. Oh, thank you, just another Lisa. Welcome in. You just had a new start when you moved into this apartment. And she tried to make it seem like it was just her and her kids. It wasn't. He there. He is there. But now you want the people who have gotten you through everything else to now give you a new start? And then what? In 6 months, you'll be back with this dude? If you go to the page, you'll see this. It's her first pinned um post. Why, Kiki? Why do people have to give you a fresh start? Why can't you put the babies in daycare, put the older kids in camp, go get a job and earn your own 2,500 and start over? And where are you going with $2,500? Thank you for we behind on the rent. Then a new start. First, last, and security. Now it is Atlanta, so maybe she's definitely not moving anywhere for $2,500 unless she has Section 8 and she's able to move Section 8 from Georgia to California. But California rent started 2,500. What? She's moving to California. Or is she moving because of the man she kept talking about after the fact? Because then she was like, my best friend, I've known him for a long time. And if I said, let's get married, he would be like, where, when? I'll be there. She was like, but he's older than me and I'm young and I like to do things and he's a homebody. Perhaps that's what you need. Right. She's been moving to California for months. When she was in the hotel, she did the whole money grab about moving to California. Ma'am. But you can't say anything to her about her parenting. What are you teaching your daughters? That in order to survive in this world, a man's supposed to do it? I'm sorry, but we've moved past that. If you find a man that's willing to take care of you and it's like, I want you to be a stay-at-home wife or a stay-at-home mother, and he earns enough for you and your children to live that lifestyle, have at it. There is an entire stay-at-home mom community on TikTok. Y'all will enjoy each other. They actually offer a lot of great advice, some of them anyway. But 5 children living in a hotel, that's not cute. The one and only, she always has something up her sleeve. And it used in Las Vegas, it was a nail business that someone gave her the money for beginning to end, and then she never created the nail business. Kiki has had more help than most. Good morning, Granny. She's had more help than most. And yet she's right back at it. And she knows when she cries that it gets people all up in arms. And then she does a video that's like, I'm really sorry for crying on TikTok. I know I shouldn't be, but I was just going through it. No, you made sure you were crying on TikTok. Yeah, Sandy. Very hard. Now, when she was in the apartment and her and the kids were talking about their adventures and everything else, I'm not going to say nothing. That's content for the people who appreciate that content. But when I see you coming back after your people, now let's be clear, she's never stopped asking for money. But when I see you making a concerted effort, you're creating a GFM for a fresh start. Fresh start where? What's happening? And then after boohoo crying, and then she's like, I be worried because my neighbor is gay. So you can't trust him past your front door? Bella, I don't know. She's still at $5? Yeah, I'm sure. Because people are sick and tired. How many fresh starts can you have in a year? And then throw it in people's faces when you feel like you're doing okay. What y'all got to say now? How about get off the floor? Get the kids off the floor. Have some living room furniture. Put the babies in some activities. You already getting disability for them because of their birth, etc. In Connecticut, it was called birth to three. I know in Louisiana it's called something else. But there are actual programs that Medicaid will pay for to help get your children from point A to point B. And even if there's not a huge delay, they will help assess them and then provide. Oh, wow. Thank you. I appreciate that. So they will, any delay that they find, they will provide therapy for it. Yeah, it was pretty. So do something. Do something for your children instead of trying to get money out of people who have already paid for everything in your life. You got that apartment because of your tax return. And while you had enough money to stay there until now, your tax return money is only going to go so far. So, what are you going to do? So, we'll be watching. Again, this was the name and act that she went live on yesterday. And she'll probably be back to talking crap. Oh, people are talking about me. They need to get a life. This, that, and the third. Girl, we wouldn't be talking about you if you weren't still doing the same thing you've been doing for the last couple of years that you've been on TikTok. Or however long it's been. The moment you came on here, this was your thing. And there were people who supported you down until they could see the pattern that you weren't really interested in taking care of yourself and your kids. You expected other people to do so. Wherever the state or the feds failed you, you expected TikTok to pick up the fee while you lay in bed and do nothing all day. Not how it's going to work, my dear. People are tired. Ask Detroit Nike if people are tired of the nonsense. Moving right along. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say it. I don't need people to like constantly. What I'm gonna ask is that if you were saying my likes were stuck at 552. Oh, okay. Every time I change a photo, like the live, and let's see why it's stuck on 552. But that's all that I ask. All that I ask is that when I change a photo, you like the live. Taps are not working. Oh no, there it is. It's working now. Maybe there was a glitch. There's been a few glitches on TikTok people aren't happy about. Hmm. Okay. Who else? Okay, Mr. Nash. Where did I write this down? Hold on. Oh, okay. Found it. You'll know I have to go through my notebook. I updated his photo. This is what he looked like yesterday. So, Timothy believes, thank you. Timothy believes, and by the way, the gifts are appreciated. They are not required. They are not necessary, but they are appreciated. And anybody knows me, when I go into another live where I think they're doing a good work, I will support them as well. Because this is hard work. And if you don't think so, all I suggest is you turn your light on, go live, have images, not videos or screenshots of what other people have sent you, and talk for 3 hours. I'm going to give you 2 days a week. And then tell me how it works out. So, because I know it's difficult, I try to support other people. Thank you, thank you. Can everybody else hear me? Okay. I don't know, honey. Close TikTok and come back in. God, I said that hard. Really, Erica? Don't give up. I got nannered on my very first live by Frank and Amanda Bowden, which is crazy because we haven't heard from them in months, although it's not smooth sailing up where she lives. I'm on that Facebook group and there's drama every day. No, I have not done the poll yet. Sherry's supposed to do it for me at 8 a.m. I haven't seen her come in yet, but I asked her to do it at 8 a.m. Okay, so back to Timothy. Now, there was a moment in time where Timothy was doing very well. I came here and I told y'all he has a job, he has a place to live, he even has a car, he seems to be doing well. I'm not going to talk about it. But according to Timmy, the world has failed him again, and now he's where he is. Now, he was staying at a hotel for a long time. But then he got a girlfriend, which I don't begrudge anybody. Everybody needs love. Everybody needs, or I shouldn't say everybody needs. A lot of people want love. You do need connection. That's that's important from birth until the end. You need connection with somebody else. And most people crave a romantic relationship because it provides that little extra beyond what friendship can provide. So I don't begrudge him being in a relationship. I think it's odd that your life ain't together and that became an important, but it could have fell in his lap. Who knows? And then I wonder about her self-esteem. Like, why are we doing this? But those are just my opinions. But then suddenly he moved to what looks like an extreme wooded area. He claims he's outside, but I don't see you show anything where you're outside. Personally, I think he moved in with the girlfriend. And there she lives in a wooded area and that's where he's staying. Cause while he looks dusty, he's not, and that's a slang word for just being raggedy. You don't look dirty. You don't look like you living in the trees. Good morning to everybody coming in. You don't look dirty. But I digress. He's claimed that he's had this job now. This would be his third week, which means on Wednesday he would get paid. Now, he told us the other day. Oh, good morning, Sherry. Welcome in. Okay. So you're here for 8 o'clock. You can do the poll. Just let me know. So he's told us that he will make $23 an hour, which is a great wage. It's a great wage. I'm sorry. Right, but Nikki, we're not even going to go that far. Let's see. So I decided to do a little calculation. So let's say, and this is again the low end, that he's worked 40 hours for 2 weeks. That would be 80 hours, right? Then I removed 1 hour a day for lunch. Some people pay you for your lunch hour, some people don't. But that's why we're doing this. We're doing it in a conservative way so that this is the least amount he should be expecting. So if we take the hour out for lunch, that would leave him with 72 hours. I should have did a slide for this. I'm sorry that I didn't. So that would be 72 hours times $23 an hour would be $1,656. Now we know that's not what he's going to get. That's his net. I mean, that's his, what did he call it? How can I forget it? Does anybody know? What's the opposite of net? I can't believe I can't think of it now. Gross. That's the gross, right? 1656. Now, I did an average that would include taxes, insurance, Social Security, all the things you have to pay regardless. And I did 25% of his salary. It used to be 21% on average, but we know how times are now. So I did 25%. That would be $414. So subtracting 1656 from 414 would be $1,242. And he wants us to believe that when he gets that check, the first one, oh, okay, hold on. Oh, when I hit the three dots, it comes up for me. Maybe does any of my mods know how to do that? If not, I'll try to figure it out. So he wants us to believe that when he gets his check, no problem, Sherry. He's going to spend half of that, which is $600, on tools for the job. You're not concerned about housing. You're not concerned about food. You're not concerned about the medication that you have been crying for weeks. You're going to buy tools. Now, my question is, I understand maybe he'd like to have his own tools, but you've been working there, this is your third week, and you haven't had your own tools. Why do you suddenly have to get them now? Correct, his queen. You buy a little bit at a time. You buy the hammer, I don't even know. Correct, Lisa Marie. Of course they do. If he was required to have tools to start his job, they wouldn't have given him the job. Now, again, I know a lot of craftsmen who like to have their own tools. They get comfortable with them. They don't have to worry about showing up to a job site and not having what they need to do their job. I get it. But I don't believe that Timothy needs to take $600 of his check, and that's the conservative number, and spend it on tools before he worries about making sure he has food for the month. And let me be clear about something. Just remember when I was saying to Wesley, you can get food stamps, you can get Medicaid, and he kept saying, no, I can't. I'm homeless. I have no mailing address, etc. You don't need a mailing address to get SNAP and Medicaid in this country any longer. And then he was like, oh, he keeps saying that he was denied. I forget, it's called 10 cal or something like that, multiple times. So who's paying for all of these hospital visits? Who's paying for the surgery that you had on your finger that you almost lost? But they're not going to cover the medication? And then furthermore, my next question is, if you've truly been denied, why have you been denied? Because those things are based on your income and family size. You've had no income for months. What do you mean? But that was just like when he was still in Pennsylvania getting care for his cancer and saying that it was a grant. But the grant paid for the doctor, the grant paid for the hospital, but the grant didn't pay for his medication. Somebody make it make sense. Of course he is. But sometimes I come across people who have never seen me before. They don't know. And especially when they see him, he sounds so convincing. And he has people in his chat that are like, nope, that's right. This is what he has. If you can help him, and blah, blah, blah. Yesterday, he was sitting in front of a house being built. Where are you? Mind you, if you recall, he said that where he works, they have a bathroom that he quote unquote cleans up in. Why are you at a house being built? Con artist, 110%. 110%. But now you're 3 days away from your check. You done waited all this time. Okay, thank you guys. Everybody still wants me to go at 6:30 in the morning? Come on, y'all. Y'all could give me a break. I'm just kidding. It's what you guys want. Remember, it's 4th of July, though. Remember that. And you gonna feel like getting up? Crack of dawn? Thank you, Erica, for doing the poll. I appreciate it. Now we know how to do it. I have never seen somebody go so long without their medication and have no debilitating effects, which is why I don't believe he's not getting his medication. I don't believe it at all. Yeah, lights must not be working because I'm at 1.8K. That's kind of weird, but it doesn't matter. And what I laughed at, I was like, if you've been without this medication for this long, sir, the pharmacy has put it back. Pharmacies give you about a week. And if you don't come pick up that medication, they are putting it back on the shelf for somebody who actually comes and gets it. It's not still waiting for you, sir. Now, the prescription is still there. But again, you're worrying about tools over medication that you think you need to continue to live a quality life? Does that make sense to anybody? You're putting that before making sure that you don't even have to wait a month for food. You can get food 2 weeks later. But you're going to put tools over that? Y'all, It doesn't make logical sense. And we know what I say. Shout out to Judge Judy. If it doesn't make sense, it's probably not true. Thank you. Correct, Sherry. Correct. No treatment, no medication. And it's funny because he looks better now than he did when he was under treatment. Now, again, I know I have watched enough documentaries to know that there are people who absolutely choose to opt out of care. They find alternatives, etc. But as far as I could tell, he hasn't been to an oncologist since he's left Pennsylvania. Correct, Sherry. When the scar for his open heart surgery went away magically. I don't understand. I really don't understand how people can be in their chat for as long as they are and they don't see the same lie we see. Like, I honestly don't get it. I mean, it was enough for me when I saw the maxi pad on his leg, sticky side down, talking about that was covering the scar. Even if the hospital had run out of everything to cover your surgery on your leg, they would never put it sticky side down. But you now want us to believe that you're going to spend $600 on tools, so you still need money from people for food. What are you doing with the other 600? I know, wasting her pad. An overnight one at that. Okay, 10 a.m. has won. 6:30 was very close, so 10 a.m. is 50%. Trying to take a screenshot of it. So 6:30 a.m. was 48%, 10 a.m. was 50%, and 12 was like 0.1% or whatever it was. So 10 a.m. it is. Thank y'all. Now, only 50 something of y'all voted. So the other 150, 200, y'all gonna have to live with the decision because you decided not to put in. His name is Timothy Nash. But those are, if you want to look him up, that's his name and his act. I always try to put that there because I don't need people to just believe what I say. I suggest you go watch them for yourself. Oh, I'm sorry, Heather. I am going to get back to posting on TikTok. I mean, on YouTube. I fell off this month. So, I'm going to go back to that. And when I do it, I'm going to try to do a week at a time until I catch up. Because we're almost in July. June should be over with. So, then I'll be posting July. And then I was surmising to myself, he kept the job at the smoke shop for a while. But if he doesn't keep this job for a while, you mean to tell me you're going to spend $600 on tools that are clearly provided for you? There is a shop because you've been working. Before you make sure you have your food, your meds, and your shelter, at least for a few days. And then I said what somebody else said, buy the tools a little bit at a time. But he wants us to expect that there's going to be this huge outlay of money. So he's still going to need you. Just because he's making more money than probably some of the people who have supported him an hour. But he needs to make sure that you know he's still going to need you. Get off of the roller coaster with him. Just get off. Next person. Okay, this is going to be quick. For a long time, I never saw her beg. Yes, please tap. Photo has changed. And when you tap, tap until you see the heart. And then you'll keep tapping. You'll see a tail. And when you continue to tap after that, feel the heart's tail. And yeah, it's not working. Like, I'm only seeing a couple of people tap. So, I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, she makes my blood boil too now. So, I didn't see her beg for a long time. So, if I don't see it for myself, I'm not going to talk about it, right? Because I don't take anybody else's word. It's not that I doubt people, but I got to be able to stand on my own too when I start talking about somebody. So I like to see it for myself. So she tried to rewrite history yesterday, saying that her dog didn't get into her rugs. It got heat stroke. You're lying. You're lying. You're trying to rewrite history. Because I was there the entire day almost where you were begging. It was first 300 was all you needed. Then you needed a $600 down payment because they estimated that it was going to be like 12 or $1,300, right? And you knew, you were like, she's not acting right, whatever. If it was heat stroke, she would have been panting, laying down, uncomfortable. She literally was sitting there just swaying back and forth like, I feel good. And that wasn't just my impression. Those were her supporters. And they were like, Mama, it's the holiday. We wanted to be high like you. And she would giggle and laugh. And when people were like, wait, the dog got into your rugs, she was like, well, my dog got into something. Girl, we know. Your people were joking about it. So then you bring the dog, you come home, the dog stays overnight. They're like, the dog is fine. You can pick her up, but we need another $300. She gets there, she's begging the whole way. And then a woman pays the remaining 300. So we were at $900 because she couldn't keep her stuff in order. When you have children and animals, you can't leave certain things out. They are nosy. They will investigate it. Dogs especially will eat it. But we know what that was. Okay, fine. Now, I don't know about anything in between, but the next thing I know, the AC in the house went out. Again, she tried to rewrite history yesterday, but the air conditioning in her house went out. And yes, it has been extremely hot, dangerously hot, right? She at first said that people bought her an air conditioner. Then it was they brought air conditioners. So I guess one for her mom, one for her, one for the living room. I don't know. But there became multiple air conditioners. Now, originally, she was like, the landlord is going to fix the AC. And when it gets fixed, I'm going to give the air conditioners away to somebody in need. Last night, it was, yes, I asked for air conditioners and we're going to keep them in case anything changes. In case, oh no, like in case this happens again. What? That's not what you said when you got him. You said you were going to give him to somebody in need because your house has central air. So now we rewriting history? You never said you was going to give him away? And then you talk about, then she was like, and then yes, my dog is my best friend. I'll do anything for my dog except make sure that your dog doesn't get heat stroke and doesn't get into your butt. Proud Firewise, my central, I'm in Florida too. My central air went out. We called the man immediately. I'm gonna need you to come and fix it because I am still not accustomed to the heat. Like right now. And then we had to wait, they came, whatever the case may be. Aaron, there are parts of her that are satire. There are parts of her that battle and she puts on the weird makeup, and there are other times where she's just talking or she's complaining about her mother, her brother, her kid, whatever the case may be. But, and again, I don't begrudge anybody having animals. But what I don't like is people who can't afford their animals and then they put the responsibility off on the people who have become, I don't want to use the word fan because I don't really like that, who have become attracted to the account, because none of them really know her. They only know what she lets them see. But ma'am, and that's what I didn't understand. How are the people in the chat who have paid for these things allow her to rewrite history? How does that work? None of y'all have the integrity to say, well, wait a minute. I'm going to support you regardless, but that's just not true. Because then you want to come at me and be like, why are you talking about her? Because you are not holding her accountable. You are not making her tell the truth. If y'all, who are her supporters and other supporters, held them accountable for the lies they tell, for the things that they do, we might not be necessary. Because they'd have to be intellectually honest with the people that are present. I shouldn't have to stroll in and find that she's lying. And nobody's saying a word. Of course, Missy Muffy, nothing is nobody's business. But they all claim that the people who give, they will show the receipt to. But of course, the people who give say they never want to see a receipt. Do you know how many times I've been tempted to pay some money so that I could see, quote unquote, a receipt? Oh, our money, and I say that too. Who said it? Erica. I be like, it's none of my business, but what's in my wallet is your business. When Lisa said the other day, pay and you could get her box, was I ever tempted? But because I know where it's going, I would never. But boy, was I tempted. I was tempted. But of course, the people who give them money never ask for receipts. Never. But this is the thing. If my integrity was being called into question, and you know how I feel about my integrity, why wouldn't I show it? Because this is the other thing. The people who have been funding you now are going to eventually walk away. Again, ask Detroit Nike. And you're going to need new people to give. So why wouldn't you show the new people, hey, listen, people who gave me money for that, here's the receipt. Here's the the CA that they gave it. Here is the receipt where I paid it. And she's like, we were never late on the rent except for that one time, and it was because of such and such, and it's never happened again. Yeah, because you can come to your people for any expense that's not covered. Kite girl, exactly. I haven't seen J. Paul. Anybody seen her lately? I haven't, because I'm still waiting for her to finally move out. Good morning to everybody just coming in. Again, if you're a member of the team, hit the daily heart me. If not, stick around. And if you like what you hear, join the team. You seen her? Kite girl, where have oh you know I haven't seen her. Oh, I thought you wait, Missy Muffy, where have you seen her? Please jump in the box. Oh, today's her birthday. Big grab. She moved in with the buddy. I think it's the buddy. Do y'all remember when she had court, and I think it was for her eviction, although she was like it's like her case against the landlord. It wasn't. It was her eviction. Um but she was at a buddy's house, and where she parked was not visitor parking. It was resident parking only. And they, according now, this is what she said. Her car was towed, and she needed the Uber money. I think her friend gave her the Uber money to get to court on time. Then she needed Uber money to get back, and then she needed Uber money to get to where her car was, and then needed the money to get it out. That's the friend I think she went to, which he's disabled. And so he probably either has a studio or a one-bedroom apartment. And she's going to move in with her two big dogs, which is why I think she's waited so long to actually do it. First of all, she ain't supposed to be there. Second of all, it's going to be awfully crowded. And remember now, she's claiming that on July the 17th, she starts the stay at home job. Where are you going to do that at? Where are you going to do that at? And for all we know, that's a hard drive, not like a laptop. Because she has to go pick up the equipment on the 16th, and she starts training on the 17th. If I'm not mistaken, those were the dates she told. But what threw me off was, remember now, she claimed that the security job was 45 minutes away from that house, and that she thought by living there she could save money. This is my question though. Jordan, did you think you could live there rent free? Because you were getting all your extra expenses paid for by other people. Your gas was paid for by other people. The rest of your car payment was paid by other people. If you needed food, your dog food, which turned out to be Gravy Train. But you've been getting money this entire time, like almost every single day. So what were you spending your own money on, ma'am? If you worked as many days as you said you did. Was late how many times? But every time, I can't be late, guys, because I'm going to get fired. Girl, you've been fired. You've been fired. And what was funny was the other day, she showed the back of her work jacket, and she had on her work shirt. I saw the emblem in the upper right hand corner. Unless that was some fake shirt. And I'm thinking to myself, I thought you couldn't show the uniform. But I could not take a screenshot fast enough. But she's been prepping us for this new job. Like she still has the old one. Because she's like, I'm going to start this job. It's part-time. It's work from home. Which she would love to have. And she's like, but it's part-time for now. They have full-time hours. But I'm going to wait and see. Because I'm going to make more money an hour doing this. So I'm going to see. And if it's If they have the hours and it's consistent, I'm going to switch jobs. Girl, we know better. Roller Co. Would you like to come in the box and tell me why I'm bullying somebody? You are welcome in the box. Don't attack her for let's give her the opportunity to come in the box. Roller Co. Oh, good, Stephanie. Can you come in the box and tell me how I'm bullying somebody, or am I stating the facts of what has happened? Because that's all I do. I don't go real life. I don't try to find out more information than what you give. You're highlighting and publicizing someone's deficit. Well, that's first of all, that's not how you spell deficit. But what deficit have I highlighted? Come in the box. Because I don't want to go back and forth in the chat. Just come in the box and explain it to me. It's going to take too long for you and me to go back and forth in the chat. Come in the box. I'll turn comments off if she comes in the box. Absolutely. I'm not saying that I don't make mistakes, but if I've made one, come in the box and tell me which one I've made. What deficit? Their financial deficit? Perhaps. I think what they do is they put all people that speak facts about their people and they want to say it's an attack. But if you're going to say I'm attacking someone or I'm bullying someone, I need you to be able to articulate what that is. That's her name. Don't you see the at in front of it? That is her TikTok name. That's all that means. What else? Let's see what else I'm doing. You have about 1 minute to tell me what else I'm doing to bully her. If you were here for 5 minutes, stay. You know what? Better yet, stay. You're literally airing someone else's dirty laundry in an attempt very public way. Okay, Rollercoat, this is the last thing I'm gonna say. If you find it acceptable for people to get on this app and lie to other people to get their money, this isn't the life for you. Because I find it deplorable to... Flissy, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't go over slow. If you find that okay, no problem. But I don't. And in this live, I only talk about what they show or what they say. And I don't take other people's words for it. I watch it myself. If you listen, you would hear me say that she rewrote history and she said this time and this is what she said that time. I haven't put out her address, her phone number, her the town she lives in, none of that. So you're hating on people so much you go live and talk about them? This must be just domestic survivor people, I guess. So no, I don't hate people. I actually love people more than I hate them. What I don't like is that they take advantage of people by lying. And if you consider lying worse than me bringing attention to their lying, you may have your morality flipped upside down. No, it's not. That is her act. Rollico. I'm not. Hold on. Let me show another picture because they want to make this something that it's not. Let's see. Who can we show? Oh, we'll just show Timothy. That is his name and his act. What do you mean? What do you mean? That's all that says. Yeah, I'm sure, but I like to give them enough time. You know how they say, you give them enough rope, they hang themselves? First, you started talking about a deficit. A deficit about what? And now I'm leaving something out of her name? No, that's her act. And this is what's funny. I put that, and I just finished saying it. I put their name in their act so you can go watch them yourselves and make your own determination. I say you don't even have to believe me. Go watch for yourself. But I love how they can get on here, they can lie, they can beg, they can get money, they can then turn around. Because let's be clear, guess what's also important? That vape. Let's go back to the person we're talking about because we're done with Timothy. Let's go back. That vape is equally as important as that dog. They never don't have that vape. I've never heard them ask for vape money, but you need money for everything else. Mama Bear, don't say nothing else. They know. They know. They just want to come in here, and it's so funny. They don't want to box up. Because don't ask me for a box. I will jump in that box so fast. But they won't box up over here. And Crystal ain't here. Why are you keeping up for her? Tell her to come in here and box up. Come in here and box up. Good morning. Good morning. So, Crystal, other people may not pay close enough attention to what you say, but I do. But I do. White socks. You've already given me a morning. Please find something to do. What are we doing? You can't sit in my lap right now. I'm not positioned for you to sit in my lap. He is trying to find a way, y'all. They said, good morning, White Sox. You got anything to say? Oh, Lord. You can't rub on the phone. You're going to knock it off. Okay, I need for you to go somewhere now. I'm giving you're going to find a way to sit down, right? Okay. Everybody said good morning. He's like, I just want to go back to sleep. Hold on, what did Daisy May say? White Sox. Oh, I missed it. I'm sorry. Okay. So anyway, what is your purpose for going live? Y'all give me a second. That's facts, Daisy May. Ah! You are not the Kardashians. You are not getting paid to put all your business on the street. But if you do, once you put it on TikTok, it's for everybody. It is a public platform. You put any of your business on here, it is for everybody to know. So what is my purpose in going live? So to make it quick, there are people on this app that utilize the app, create what they consider to be families of people who come and watch them live. And either every day, every few days, every few months, they ask people for money. They often lie about why they need the money. In Crystal's case, I'm not going to say she's a liar when she asks for the money, but what I will say is that she expects her people to cover expenses that they shouldn't have to. And then she rewrites history. The first time her dog needed to go to the vet, it got into her rugs. Period, point blank. Everybody knows it. Then she told everybody she was going to get the air conditioners that people paid for and that she wasn't going to keep them, that she was going to give them to a needy family. And now she's going to keep them in case the air conditioner goes out again. Even though she's a tenant and her landlord pays for the air conditioner to get fixed. Now she's saying that she needed money to get, I think it was $1,400 because the dog got heat stroke. Why weren't you taking care of your dog? That it had to get heat stroke. And of course, she never shows the bill. So do we know if it was $1,400 or was it $300? It is a lot of money to ask people for. And this was right after getting the air conditioners or right before, one or the other. But you can wet a dog down. There are things you can do. Turn off the lights. And I don't even know if the heat stroke was because the air conditioning went out. It just seemed like it was around the same time. Yeah, she claims the house is clean, but I remember when she did a live where she had to show that her house was a mess. Yeah, a lot of us wouldn't come on this app and ask for money. But there are a lot of people who come on the app and they treat the app like it's an ATM. And that's my problem. And if anybody has been around my lives any length of time, I recognize that things happen. Things happen. Everybody has a valley. Oh, can't please everyone? Yes, but that's because she sees other people getting money. So why wouldn't she? There was a girl who was like, pay off all my debt so I could buy a house. And I think they sent her like 30 grand. She had pretty privilege, of course. But yeah, everybody's using TikTok like an ATM. Nisi, Miss Nisi, a lot of people on here do. Yeah, look at Slot. And she was supposed to be on our side. But she's paying for it. Yes. Keep tapping. Even though it's not really showing. And the number at the end doesn't matter. But the more you tap, the more it gets pushed to the FYP. And people who may have never seen me or heard me or know anything about what I'm talking about may come through. And those are the people I'm trying to reach. If you are someone who consistently gives to your person and you don't care about why they use the music money, what they ask for, you being here is pointless, because you already know what you know and you're choosing to still give your money. I'm trying to reach the people who don't know, who may be taken in, people who love animals, people who love children, and they think if I send this $30, this $100, this $300, I'm going to make all the difference. They thank you for about 15 minutes and then it's on to the next. And you come back a couple of weeks later, they're asking for something else. Oh, okay. Thank you for that. No, mapping. You mean napping? Thank you, disturbed one. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk Maggie Foster. She's another one. She's so bad that she literally has a list. She has a list of the things she would like to do, food she would like to eat and have delivered, and vacations she'd like to take. All while being on Social Security, all while receiving food stamps and Medicaid. She lives in housing, so she barely pays anything. I think she has a cell phone bill and a cable bill. She doesn't have a car, so she doesn't have like a car payment or insurance or anything like that. Correct, unsupervised blue. That is in fact the case. And what makes Maggie so disturbing is that she feels, and I mean I guess they all do, but she especially feels entitled to your money. And what upset me about her the other day, because it's the same thing, but there are just a few things that sometimes happen that touch the one nerve I have left for her. And she said that there was a woman who promised her $25. And at some point, the woman had to say to her, I don't have it. You know, I have kids. And Maggie's response to that was, I take promises seriously. And you promised me the $25, so you need to send it. You knew you had kids when you promised. Excuse me, Maggie? So you have zero compassion for a woman that has children and may have had to spend that $25 on her children? You deserve it more than her children? When you go on her live and you say hello, all she wants to know is if you're going to send in. Send in, send in, send in. Oh, she's a unique one. She's a unique one. She also swears up and down that there's no problem. What is going on? That there's no problem with her getting gifts. So you know what we do? We raise the consciousness around here, and I'm going to show you from a couple of different platforms what it has to say. And for those of y'all who know, bear with me. But there's always people who may not know. So let's see. Let's start somewhere. Where do we want to start? So, yes, individuals who receive SSI generally must report gifted money, including money received through platforms like TikTok. So, here's what you need to know: SSI is a needs based program. So, it's based on your financial need, which includes income and assets. Gifts count as income. For SSI purposes, most gifts are considered income. Receiving gifts, including money through platforms like TikTok, can reduce SSI benefits or potentially affect eligibility. Okay? Reporting is required. There is a small gift exclusion, right? There's a small monthly exclusion for unearned income, so gifts below a certain threshold might not affect benefits. You are only allowed to have $2,000. That is your limit. So if you have more than that in the bank at any time, they could take it out of your Social Security until you pay down on that money. So obviously you want to seek SSI benefits. So for people on SSDI, gifts don't count because it's not based on your income. It's based on work history, not your financial need. That's what makes it different. SSI is a needs-based program. Cash gifts or anything that can be used to pay for food or shelter will count as income and may reduce your benefit amount. Non-cash gifts like clothing or personal items that don't cover food and shelter usually don't count. So if someone sent Maggie an outfit, it wouldn't count. So this is a scenario. A $200 cash gift from a friend counts as income. If a friend pays your rent, it's considered in-kind support and it could reduce your benefits. Again, clothing or a book doesn't count. Used furniture for your home usually doesn't count. You are required to report gifts, especially if they are cash to cover food, shelter. Not reporting can lead to overpayments or penalties. So I went to another place and asked, can people on SSI and SSDI receive gifts? It depends on whether you receive SSI or SSDI. We already saw this. People on SSDI can receive gifts. People on SSI have to be careful. SSI recipients must follow strict rules or they risk losing benefits. So it tells you what this guide is going to show. And it was a bank, I believe. So small cash gifts under $20 a month does not count as income. So your friend gives you $15 for coffee. Doesn't count in the entire month. If someone gives you more than $20, SSA counts it as unearned income, which may reduce your SSI payment. So, if your SSI payment is $943 per month and you receive a $500 cash gift, SSA may deduct $500 from your next check. And she gets way more money than that. We know it. Oh, wait, that's the one I did already. If a financial gift causes your bank balance to exceed 2,000, and in her case is single, but it's 3,000 for couples, you may lose SSI eligibility. It gives you another example. They will suspend your payments until you spend it down. I think that was the last one. So when Maggie says, oh, they know, and it doesn't count, and it doesn't matter, proof is in the pudding, boo. And what we have all asked over and over and over again, for the little girls who are her mods, who are like, why do you care? Why is it your business? First of all, she is taking taxpayer money and it is funding her life. And then she's taking your after-tax money and going to places you can't even afford to go. And if and when she loses her benefits, and now she has nowhere to live, they take her food stamps. Because what they're going to do is they're going to figure out how much she got, and they're going to take it away until she spends it down. Meaning she won't get her Social Security again until, let's say they say it's 10,000, and I'm just making up that number. She won't get her SSI until she would have gotten $10,000 in SSI payments. Correct, Rock. Facts. Right, she has to pay it off. And because she's doing this on a public platform, SSI can just come in and look. They have gotten, I think, a terabyte of information, and it requires them to review it, research it, investigate it. So it may take time. But that's why we're patient and consistent, right? We don't care how long it takes. But if and when she loses it all, where y'all gonna go? You gonna pay her full rent? You gonna take care of all of her medical needs and her medication? You gonna pay for her nurse? That she took money from y'all to fly her nurse to California for the BET red carpet experience and the show. Did y'all know you was paying her nurse to go? But these little kids who were like, why do you care, and blah, blah, blah. Because she may think she knows, but we all know she doesn't know everything about everything, right? What she knows is she's able to get money. But she has become so popular at it and about it, she is now going to be looked at by governmental agencies. And when they say to her, you've taken advantage of the system, y'all will want to cry. And say, no, she didn't. We gave it to her willingly. It doesn't matter. There are rules in place. So if you're really going to help her, why don't you do some research? Instead of lying about you calling and finding out that it was okay. They'll always say, "Oh, we called. I know, was it Bonnie? I called and it was okay." Okay, so your phone call is supposed to supersede all the information we've researched. Correct, Dana. Instead of sending her on trips, pay her bills. And then that Social Security check could go to somebody in need, in true need. That California trip probably paid all her bills for a month. Plus. Because remember, not we, but they paid for the nurse to go as well. Hey, Maggie. You missed the lesson, baby. But I see that you're here. You're up kind of early. But based on all the research, sweetheart, from multiple different sources, you may want to recall Social Security. Charlotte, I don't know. Yeah, it's not like a RN, it's an aide. I'm sorry. Wait, let me be clear. I'm not saying that she doesn't deserve the SSI, the aid, and the support she gets. She does. The problem is that if you're going to receive gifts, especially cash, you got to count it. You got to report it. You have to report it. And then let the chips fall where they may. But you're letting it build up. And if and when they come for that money, you may be without services for months. And my question to you is, are your people still going to support you when you need money for rent and medication and food? And right now it's fun and games because they know it's what you want versus what you need. But it's really funny how when people are truly in need, these same people won't be so happy. She is incredibly rude about it. And I told y'all the first story. How do you think that you getting DoorDash is for $25 or whatever it was for is more important than a woman taking care of her children, whether she promised it to you or not? And what's so crazy is you'll get that same $25 over and over and over again, but you're mad about somebody who couldn't do it because she had to do something for her kids? You treat your dolls better than you chose to treat that woman. Your babies, you expect people to give money to you so you could take your babies out on Mother's Day and Father's Day. But this woman who needed to take care of her kids, what's the problem? The idea that people in your chat are only worth the amount of money they could send is insanity. The fact that you have a list so that when they give you the DoorDash, you're like, okay, well, I have a bill to pay. And when people ask you what bill, you tell them to mind their business. Right, she did. She collected for an event and didn't go. What about lying that your money got stolen before you went to Vegas? You made all them people come up with all that money so you could get into the hotel room that night, knowing that in the morning you were going to, in the middle of the night, mind you, you were going to get your check. And you would have got it in the middle of the night, Pennsylvania time, not Vegas time, in Pennsylvania time. And then in the morning, you got up and thought it was funny and was like, I'm going to the buffet and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And then when everybody found out that the money wasn't stolen and people asked for refunds, you told them to kick rocks. You told them to kick rocks. They wasn't getting nothing back. So the relationship with you is completely one-sided. It is for Maggie, about Maggie. Right. She accused that lady of stealing. Anybody else would have got arrested because that was assault. Sorry, but I'm not sorry. It's the truth. And we all know the saying, God don't like ugly. And Maggie, you're ugly sometimes. Now, I'm not going to say all the time, but you're ugly to the very people who support you. There are people who have given you money in the past, and if they don't have money to give to you now, they are trash to you. No, she doesn't have kids. She has reborn dolls that she calls her kids. And then she expects people to give her money to take them out on Mother's Day and Father's Day. She's even gone into restaurants with the dolls asking for the free meal because she's a parent. It's Mother's Day. Right. She went out Mother's Day and Father's Day. Now, when it comes to a real parent, a real single parent, I will say to some women, Happy Mother's Day, Happy Father's Day, because you're both. Yeah, Detroit Nike had that lip poked out yesterday. What happened to all the people that would put you in a hotel? I think people got sick of it. Oh, absolutely. But that's why her mods keep turning over because they think that they're going to have an impact on her attitude. They'll be like, Maggie, be nice. Don't be rude. No, what they say doesn't matter to Maggie at all. Why do people want me to join their co-hosting? Weird. Maggie is out for Maggie only, exactly, Sherry. And she doesn't care who she steps on in the process. Maggie will be on a random street and ask people for money. No, they're not helping Detroit Nike anymore. And it's hilarious. And the reason why I say it's hilarious is because he's racist, he's sexist, he doesn't even like the black women who have supported him all this time. He talks. Remember that picture I showed? And it was one of those really old racist photos where a black woman was being ridden by a white child way back in the day, and he said that's all black women were good for. So no, I don't care that he's where he's at. He got an apartment on everybody's back, had the apartment for 1 months, and didn't feel like he needed to pay the rent. Because I think he thought when he was out, people were going to just take care of him. Again, never got a job. You had a whole apartment so that you didn't have to worry about where you were going to eat, where you were going to shower, etc. You could have easily gone and gotten a job. Maybe he thought he was becoming a TikTok influencer, but I say this all the time. If you're not getting paid to do it, it's a hobby. It's a hobby. And getting people to buy you alcohol. And you were also buying bud, let's be honest. So that means you was using some of the money from people to do that. Why couldn't you have gotten a job? Then you started this whole you're going to do hair thing. And again, until you start getting paid for it, it's a hobby. Yeah, he's still begging. But that lip, he was telling people don't talk to him. He was down to like 22 people just watching while his bottom lip was poked out from here to South America. What your lip poked out for now? Where's all the brashness now? Where's all the you can't be me, you're brokey, blah blah blah, my supporters is always gonna support me? What happened to all of that, bro? And unfortunately, or fortunately, they all meet that fate at some point. All of them. I saw Chef Carl come on for a second yesterday. Sir, your time has been over for a long time. Oh, he was, Sherry? He wasn't last night while he was outside, though. Ah! He wasn't popping his collar then. I think during the day, he feels like if he acts like that, people are going to send in. Because that's what he used to be able to get people to do before. Scammy Awards. Hello, hello. Welcome in. I'm sure she's on your list, Scammy. Maggie gotta be on the list. And if she ain't, I'm a nominator. Cause woo! Her attitude, the fact that she almost feels like before you pay your bills, you need to make sure Maggie could go to her event. It's crazy to me. And then now she has these young girl mods who don't know how Social Security works even a little bit, nor do they care to find out. All they're worrying about is making sure there isn't anybody in the live that's saying anything negative. Thank you. Girl, if you're really protecting her, you need to protect her from herself. It's ridiculous. And what's so crazy is for these young girls, Maggie couldn't talk to their mother like that, but she could talk to the mothers on TikTok like that. It's not funny. It's not cute. I can't remember because I couldn't find it. But maybe they're in here. Someone said, I'm about to wake up White Sox, y'all, but he fell asleep on my notebook. Okay, go back to sleep. Now I gotta hold it in my hand. But somebody has said something a few days ago, like a week ago, about us having like a moral contract with one another, where we have expectations of behavior. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. We all have the same expectation of people. And now people have made it funny and desirable to not be that way. And like somebody said, you could have all the sympathy in the world, but it doesn't cancel accountability. Wait, what did Scammy say? Oh yes. So does Scammy Claus. Because Scammy Claus is who put that terabyte together. But that's what I wanted to say on Maggie. Maggie, how dare you tell a woman that she has to put you above her children? Never. Now you can stick around and learn about some others. Maggie Foster is right there. The act, Maggie Foster, that's her name. If you ever want to know, oh yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Her at is Maggie Foster 5, but her regular. I just put in Maggie Foster and it comes up because there's only one. Yeah, I think so. Don't fund me. It should. It's cash, right? It'll all count. And when she gets it, that's gonna put her over the limit. So keep on going, boo. Keep believing what people are telling you. You better call somebody else. Huh? Okay. Who else is on the list? God, I've been talking a long time. Okay. Listen, I told y'all I'm not bothering to track the account she's on because whatever. But she tried to lie yesterday and say she deactivated her accounts. You're lying. TikTok deactivated them because I think they are finally sick of you and your nonsense. That's for A. For B, then last night she tried to act like she was afraid of, it's Nate, right? She tried to act like she was afraid. She was like, I need $20 and then I can leave here quietly and blah blah blah. And go where? Back to the street? What's
I'm not
$20?
quite sure how to help you with that.
Ma'am, nobody was talking to you. Mind your business. Where were you going with that $20 that you could get away? When I tell you, remember, and I will never forget it, when she sung Jay Z's I'm a Hustler Baby, I will never forget that. Ever. Never forget it. I'm sick of her too. And I know people say, like, why do you bring attention to her? She gets 1.3, 1.6 thousand people in her life. What you mean? She is, yes, and she absolutely is a master manipulator. But let me just say this to y'all, and I'm going to end up saying it about somebody else in a minute. When parents leave you where you are, there's a reason. There's a reason. Now, I'm not saying she's the reason why they sold the houses. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying she's the reason her parents had to get out. Because it sounds like they did that to all of their properties. There's a reason why she's not in the hotel with them, though. And I'm hoping when they do get a place that she can't come. There's a reason. Do you honestly think that if her parents thought she hadn't eaten in 6 months, that they wouldn't make sure that she got something to eat? And it's my understanding that at some point they sent a pizza because they started to believe the lie. Lisa could care less about eating. And this is the other thing. Lisa is not going to stop alive until she gets some money. Period. So when she's like, nothing on chime, nothing on chime, nothing on chime, and I can hear the phone dinging in the background while she says it, that's her getting money. And don't y'all think if she really wasn't getting money, she would be crashing out on here? Because every once in a while she does. She crashes out. That is when she hasn't gotten any money. Correct. She streams literally 24 hours. There might be from like 4 to 6 in the morning where she's not, I haven't really seen her on. But literally from 4, 5, 6 in the morning until 1, 2, 3 in the morning. I have seen her. Oh, really? New people bought it, but they owed almost $3,000 in back rent. Wow, I thought everybody got out. Oh, Steve Cricket's here. Steve, stick around. I'm about to talk about you and your people. So stick around. Welcome in. If you want a box, let me know. But we know you won't. I think he gets a kick out of being in our lives. Like, don't worry. You are on the agenda today. Okay? And then you can run back and tell whatever story you want to tell. Lisa needs rehab. If you haven't come across her and you're gonna feel guilty for anybody, feel bad for her children and her family. And the fact that they have to love somebody who is doing this. Oh yeah, she's nodding out like crazy now. And again, that's how you know she's getting money. And the people who are sending her gifts in the live when they know she can't get them because she doesn't have access to a PayPal right now is diabolical. And the people who get in there and they're like, "Hi Lisa, how are you?" She wants money. That's how she's doing. What do you think she's here for? To just chat and say hello? She's always threatening to dox people. And this is what I say. If you've been giving her money and you keep giving it because you're afraid she's going to dox you, she can only dox you once. And yes, you're going to get a lot of hate for it. Get over it. But she can only dox you once. Stop sending her money. Stupid. You know exactly where it's going. But yet you still want to give her money? Like, you are deplorable people if you give her money because you know exactly where it's going and you're still doing. Well, since Steve is here, I wasn't going to do them now, but why not? Steve, would you like the box? Yes or no? I'm going to give you a shot right off the bat. And if not, we are all going to act like you're not even here. Made it just in time. That's funny. Steve, let's go. Okay, no, thank you. People do not acknowledge Steve at all. Okay? Because if he's not willing to come up, then he doesn't need to be acknowledged. Oh, Guardians of Valor is here, Steve. Right, maybe he's an AI. Correct, I believe. Good morning, Guardians of Valor. Thank you for being here. So let's start with that. How many times did Tim acknowledge the cease and desist letter and the demand for payment, but didn't say he didn't get it? Do you not realize you're on a public app and everybody can hear you talking about said cease and desist, but you didn't get it? That doesn't make sense. But then they made sure you got it and you decided to read it. And then you used your Timu lawyer, wife in the back, to research one word after another because you didn't understand it. And because she read the things that were favorable to your line of thinking, you decided that your line of thinking was accurate. I promise you it's not. Your line of reasoning is not accurate. And we know you can't afford a lawyer. So probably the best thing for you to do is to make the payment and stop talking about them. Then it could go away, right? It could go, and this is what's crazy. Why don't you ask your supporters for the money so that this could be over? Words are hard. Pay the money and don't talk about her again. Or them, I should say them, because there are two of them, at least, that we know about. They pay for everything else. Ask them to give you the money so you could pay her back and this could be over with. But let me tell y'all something. Tim and Angela don't have content. Okay? He talks about the food that he cooks every day that's the same every day. And they eat it on camera like they expect it to taste different. He couldn't even read the Slap Your Mama logo on the seasoning they were using properly yesterday. But okay. Furthermore, do you think the 22 people that are in your private live is going to give you a hotel for a week? You're going to have to come off of private. Because they're not going to give you enough money. Oh, yeah, they are block happy. The hair fryer, yeah, when he cut his hair in front of the air fryer, sir, you don't think flicks of hair could get into an air fryer? Ask my cats. Correct, but he's concerned for his blood pressure. He's concerned for his blood pressure, but he's eating all of that pork. Sir, you're supposed to be eating lean meats. You're supposed to be eating lean meats. Correct. Haven't looked for a job since they got fired. But so what their content has become, and I do believe that, and I said this last night, I do believe that their content has become us because they have nothing else. Yeah, it's the new carnivore diet. Yeah, okay. And the wife gets a potato. Let's not forget her getting a potato. He has to stress that. She gets the carbs, but he doesn't. So, we know you're getting ready to come off private because you only had, what, 6 days to pay the hotel with your last check? So, we coming up on the time when you're either going to go back to the car and it's going to be so hot and then we're going to end up with heat stroke. Can you please play? But you haven't spent time looking for a job. Like, not for nothing, that would be my content if I was them. That would be my content. Looking for a job. But they want to say that they do that privately. You want us to stop talking about you? There's an easy way to do that, Tim and Angela. Get a job and stop asking people for money on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram. Take care of yourself. And I and everybody else, poof, goes away. No, they always want more. The problem with being content in this life is where you create your contentedness. You create your comfortable space. There are people with money and smarts that live in the woods alone because they don't want to be around other people. There are people with money in New York City that will live in a shoebox because they want to live in New York City. You create your contentedness. You create what makes your life comfortable. You cannot do it on the backs of other people because you can never be content when you are reliant on someone else's kindness to create your contentious, not contentious, your contented lifestyle. You are always having to ask for the next thing to be comfortable. So there is no way to be content in those circumstances. You have to create it for yourself. Yes, with Guardians of Valor, he was concerned about, well, this is the address, this was the address on the envelope. I don't understand what the address on the envelope has to do with the content of the letter. But this is what they do to try to distract from what's there. Oh, well, I can't say any Janet. It doesn't have her last name, blah, blah, blah. Sir, all you are revealing is that you've gotten the letter, you know who it's about, you know the amount, and you are asked to cease and desist. I don't care if it came in crayon. Remember when Sean was like, you can't send a cease and desist over the email? And then when he found out that that was legitimate, he tried to send it to Scammy Claus. But you were quick to say that it wasn't a real one. Nobody knocked on the door and made you sign a paper, so it's not real. Timothy Angelo, the last place you want to do is end up in court. That's the last thing you want to do. It would be so much easier to just pay the money. Pay the money and leave her alone. But paying the money will force them to admit that they aren't the quality people they pretend to be. They have five judgments and an eviction. Yo, does that not indicate something to you? Listen, when she said that at her big age, this was her first real job, first of all, how? Like, even at 18, so I can understand you were spoiled. I don't know this, so this is my conjecture. But let's say you were spoiled all your life. They wanted you to focus on school and not work. Okay, cool. Then you graduate. Let's say between 18 and 19, because I don't know. But let's say about that age. What did you do then? They might as well be related to Sean. What did you do with your life at 19, 20, 21, 25? I wanted to be out there making things shake. And I had a son I had to take care of. But I wanted to be where the party was. I had to have money to go. I quickly got my life together though because I had a child to take care of. But even still, even if I didn't have him, I would work. And then you marry Tim. You get with Tim for however long, and then you marry him. And Tim, clearly she intended on being a stay at home wife. Is that what you promised him? You never gonna have to work a day in your life as long as you with me. Angela, you're not disappointed? But in the meantime, now that we know you can work, because forever we were being told you couldn't. Now, and McDonald's isn't a sit down job. McDonald's is standing the entire time you're there. So now that we know you have the physical ability to do so, where's the job? But more importantly, where's the interview? Because if you want to try to say that you're looking for jobs behind the scenes, which, okay, let's say, where's the interview? No problem, Cookie Monster. You don't have to apologize for that ever. Where's the interview? All we hear about is how you went to the gym and she went and saw her friends and you were in the gym and then you came home and you have money for meat like nobody's business. You have meat like nobody's been. Meat is expensive. But okay, that's your priority. You want to be on a carnivore diet. So you make do because that's what you want to eat. Where's the next job? Or do you really think that 22, 28 people privately are going to send you enough money for a hotel for a week? I promise you, they're not. Yeah, steak and shrimp. Like, okay, I see you. But just like everybody else, your time is starting to run out. People feel like they will help somebody until they get from point A to maybe even point E. But once they've gotten you there and you're back at A, they're less likely to support. And every time you go back to A, you get fewer and fewer and fewer financial supporters. Now, they might be in there and feel like they've met friends in there and they want to be in there, but their wallets start to close. So what you're doing now is focusing on the cease and desist letter, guardians of valor, people like me and others who bring attention to your nonsense because you are trying to create an us and them. Look at what they are doing to us. Can you believe that they're talking about us? And we love you guys, but them, they are coming for us. We are a family. They're coming after us. Why? So that as soon as you have to ask for money, it's us. We have to fight against them. We have to prove them wrong. And the only we that's opening up their wallet is the people in your chat. When you pay the money for your expenses, they get zero benefit. The we becomes you and Angela and you and Angela alone. And as long as you are still taking advantage of people on this app, I'm going to talk about you, whether you like it or not. And you can't claim copyright because I don't use what you do on social media. I fit perfectly in the fair use category on purpose. Oh, they could act like they don't care, but they're shaking in their boots. They weren't expecting someone to step up for them and provide them cover. They really do think that they are better and smarter and more qualified than anybody else on TikTok. And y'all need to do some TikTok research. Because there are smarter people on this app besides you, Tim. I know you think you got it all figured out. You don't. Because if you had it all figured out, you and your wife wouldn't be in a hotel with no jobs and no prospects. Why don't you tell us about that? Or not even us. Why don't you tell the people who have supported you what your plans are? besides worrying about what people are talking about. When you're worried about what people are talking about, you're not worried about what you should be doing. Of course, they're rage baiting because they really want to create an enemy that people can fight against. So that's why they do what they do. Why don't y'all give us the money for the hotel room so you could prove to them that they're wrong and that we're good and that we're family? Steve, you won't come up because you know that you would get a verbal jousting in any of our lives. So you won't come up. But you gather the information and then you run. Oh, and by the way, for confirmation, nobody last night said that you don't take care of your dog. What was said was that the dog, you never ask for things for the dog, meaning you don't grift for your dog to eat. That's it. Nobody said anything about you not taking care of your dog. But someone says something about your dog and then you run with it. And that gives you another 5 minutes of content. But nobody said it. So now what? You actually end up looking stupid. Oh, correct. Lisa's live. Somebody go check it out for me. I told y'all. Yeah. Somebody go check it out for me. Listen, again, Willow, she has family. He claims she has none. I don't know if I believe that. But she has family. And they don't want anything to do with them. Because they know. Welcome in, welcome in. They know. But what's also interesting is that Steve is the only one who comes around that has anything to say. Isn't that interesting? Where are all the other supporters, Steve? Guardians of Valor, we all got your back. And let us know what you need, and we're here. Oh, they did. Did they come in the box? I want to call you JSA so bad. Oh, yeah, Steve is here. Come on. I really do think that he's the kind of man who would be like, I'm smarter than them women. You might be smarter than your wife. Oh, they ran? Yeah. You might be smarter than the woman you live with. Of course they do. Like, I don't understand what people get off on being a mod for somebody who takes advantage of other people. Like, your moral compass has to be in the gutter. Because it's one thing to be the scammer, but to be the person that supports the scammer, like, what? I could never. That's funny. Remember that show? Are you smarter than a fifth grader?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I thought it would be easier to just do it this
Oh,
way.
I can't hear you. Why can't I hear you? Oh, because I'm turned down. Good
Oh,
morning.
good morning. I thought it'd be easier to just do it this way. Bet Mar and her sister came in Scam Operas Live yesterday, and we started talking to them. Bet Mar came in first. She went and got her sister, and her sister did come in the box. But before I asked her to just wait 1 second because Miss Sue was sharing something, before we got to talk, like really talk to them, they ran. They left the chat. And Betmar, like it was pointed out in the comments, she does mod for Jeff Gainey, and so does his sister. And Betmar also gave Chris Mostetler tons of money as well. Um, and what we've seen is Betmar, what in our opinion is kind of recruiting enablers and bringing them from live to live to live from the
Mm,
beggars for the beggars. So yeah, I mean we're on to her. We know what she's doing. She knows what she's doing, and so does the sister. So it's almost worse than emergency medicine, if that's even possible.
yeah.
But yeah, I just thought it'd be easier to come up and kind of explain.
No, I appreciate that because that's something I didn't know.
Yeah, not a problem. Everybody have a good day.
You too. You make sure you available today too, because you know they're gonna go live.
Yeah, well, he did say last night he might not come live today. After he started all the ranting and raving and whatnot about the dog, which was not true. And I posted a video. I even posted the whole entire live on YouTube. So when he's bored and laying in bed, he can watch the whole thing, and it was never said. But oh, Tim, if you are listening, or Steve Crick, maybe you can get it back to him. I bet you're wondering who the mole is in your group, huh?
Ooh,
Have a good day, guys.
thank you. I'm sorry that made me laugh. Well, go run tell that, Steve. Go run tell that. Lisa got off. She's gonna get off, and then she's gonna complain about her internet and how her phone is on 2%, and nobody gave her any money, and she hasn't eaten in 6 weeks. It's ridiculous. Oh, I love Just Stop too. Okay, dang, we done talked about like three people. Let's see. Okay, I initially was going to use. Yes, it's J. Paul's birthday. Let's see if she comes live. Maggie just came back in. Hey, Manders. That's okay. Maggie, maybe you'll learn about some other people. So I initially was going to say, use her to say, let me show y'all how my spidey senses go off. I was gonna talk to you about a couple of things, but I wasn't like I was gonna make her a bolo. Nah. Sorry. She didn't she happened so quickly, so fast that she doesn't even get the bolo title. Okay? So I pass her live and she has her CA in the sticker. So clue number one, like red flag number one. Why is your CA in the sticker? And she's crying, trying to cry, trying to make tears come out, whining like a baby. And I'm like, what's going on? So remember, payment app in the sticker, or it's constantly getting posted in the chat. Red flag number one. Crying on TikTok, red flag number two. Why are you on TikTok crying? So Wait a minute. Let me get to the right page. Okay. She explained that she's grieving about her best friend named Mike who passed away suddenly on Friday. I understand losing anybody is hard. Losing your best friend is extremely hard. But she keeps talking. And the more she talks, the less sense it makes. So she starts talking about how she doesn't understand where all these people have come from being upset about his death and they haven't been around and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, shoot. And then we find out that she has only known Mike a year and a half. I believe Mike was either in his late 30s, early 40s, if I'm not mistaken. She said his age, but I don't remember unless I wrote it down. But girl, let's just say he's 35. He has 33 years, 33 and a half years of life before you ever even existed. What do you mean people coming out the woodwork? I'm sure people from his history are like, who is this chick? Where's she come from? How is your year and a half knowing him more important than the people who have known him for 33 years? Well, not like 35, but 33 before you ever even met him, before you ever even knew he existed. That was the first thing that made me go, what? So, what she also ended up revealing is that they met on Facebook dating. Yes, she does. I'm just going to say Lily because the beginning of that, I can't say. But she does think like he only belongs to her. Mind you, she's not close with the family at all. The only time she could go over there is when his parents weren't home. So he might, according to her, he might let her stay there or come over or shower because she lives in her car. Now let's take it back a little bit. She lives in her car because she has two kids with the man who she says kicked her out and then put her on child support. And she blames the back child support on the fact that he now has a girlfriend. Girl, he didn't make that decision because he has a girlfriend. He made that decision because y'all have two kids. And if they're living with him full time, you got to pay child support. That's how it works. Mind you, if it was the other way around and she was home and she had the kids, y'all want me to believe she wouldn't have put him on child support? Red flag. Red flag. Like what? So she meets Mike on Facebook dating, but then he decides that he's really not interested in having a relationship. So they become best friends. Or they become friends, but according to her, they do everything together. How if you also DoorDash and Uber Eats delivery? How when he's at home living with his parents? Mind you, she was mad at his parents that his parents was making him pay $800 a month. He's a grown man living in their home. Now, when people were like, well, how did he pass? Well, I don't know. I think it's a heart attack. But then she tells us, well, the only thing that could be in his system is Xanax and Bud. Well, how do you know that for sure? One of the reasons why he had to move back in mommy and daddy's house was because he um, had a problem with drugs. So how do you know that that's all that was in his system? And then later on, she mentions she thinks she's going to take a Xanax too so she can relax. And then she says she knows she has bipolar anxiety and depression, but she hasn't been to a doctor in years. So you know me, I pay attention to everything. And I'm thinking to myself, well, if that's the case, how do you have a Xanax? So I asked, how do you and him have Xanax and no doctor visits? And she was like, oh, his best friend, who was also a female, gave us the Xanax. But you want to stand 10 toes down that that couldn't have been an issue. If he was getting the Xanax from somebody else, how do you know he didn't get anything else from anybody else? Then she says this later, and I'm jumbling the story together. Oh, I got harassment and bullying. Oh. Then she says that every time he got his check, he gave her $300. Is that why we're so upset, Amanda? Is that why we're so upset? Because you can't get that $300 no more? Now, when people were asking her why does she have her CA in the sticker, of course she gets mad and she's like, I'm not even thinking about that. It's always there. And if people want to like get me a cup of coffee or something, they can. But I'm not asking for anything. Okay. If you go to her page, which that's it right there, you can see it and go look for yourself. She has a video that is like either 24 or 48 hours old. Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to get comfortable. Where she says in the video, I hope you needed the $20 more. You scammed a woman who's homeless and just lost her best friend $20. I hope you needed it before me. What does somebody doing something with $20, I don't know if they scammed her or not. What does that got to do with losing your best friend? Then later on, after saying that they were best friends, but they did everything like they were in a relationship, it just wasn't physical. Those were her words. She later says he was the last person she did it with. Which one is it? Which one is it? And see, when one of the reasons why I write down what they say is because as I'm writing it down, I catch it like, oh, okay, so they were good friends, but nothing, no physical. So when you later on say that that's the last person you did it with, I already have the note that said that it was only physical. It was everything but physical. And when I tell you she came on time and time and time again, crying about her friend, mind you, if you recall, and I have said this to you over and over again, my mom used to always say to me, be careful because your best friend has a best friend. Did you hear what I said a few minutes ago? I let it land and I didn't say anything, but I'm coming back to it. She is his best friend, but the girl, and I'm not going to name her because she is innocent in this, but the girlfriend was his best friend. What? So then she goes on to describe her expenses, which again, which is it? Is it you're upset about your friend, or are we talking about money? I don't, when my husband passed, I other than having to pay the funeral home, I wasn't talking to anybody about the amount of income that wasn't going to come in my house now that he's not here. Like that was the furthest thing from my mind. But she's complaining because she has to pay her car payment and her car insurance, which is 500, and her child support is 500. She's like, and that's $1,000. Can you believe it? Yes. You act like that's not an expense all of us have to pay. Mind you, she lives in the DMV, which is DC, Maryland, and Virginia. You can't tell me there's not a job. You can't tell me there's not a job. So, mind you, she said that when she talked to her mother and told her mother that this best friend died, the mother was like, I'm sorry to hear it, but you need to get your life together. And she's mad at her mother that her mother didn't show more sympathy. You're her concern, not your friends. And she's tired of seeing you like this. So yes, she feels sorry for you that that happened to your friend, but that's no. She is like, no, we're not having you fall apart about that. You need to get your life together and stop acting like that's the first time your mother said it to you. Because when her boyfriend or whoever her baby daddy is kicked her out, guess where she went? To her mama's house. So you can't act like you didn't have anybody be there for you, but you became a pain in your mother's backside. And then, according to you, your mother said that you cost her $10,000 from an accident. And she's like, I know my mother has money. She has a race car and she has this and she has that. That she earned. Why are you mad at your mother for her success? You can have it if you put in the effort. Then she claims that one of the reasons why they bonded was because of their mothers. And then, of course, she had to say that just this week I found out that he was starting to see me in a romantic way, and that's all I wanted, and now I don't get the chance. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you wanted him, and when he finally decided, this happened. I'm sorry. But instead of sitting here crying to us, to go out, she was like, I can't eat. I can't work. Every time I start the car and start to try to think about working, I cry, so I have to stop. Mind you, in the same place the whole time, behind a hotel or something, motel, something. In the same exact spot the whole time. But then she brings out this app that she put on the phone that is supposed to allow her to speak to him. And I understand people believe in these things. But you really think they created an app so you could speak to him? And what's crazy is as sophisticated as AI has gotten, she would talk to the camera and then talk to the app. Of course we have two phones. Why wouldn't we? And then every time it said something, she would be like, "It sounds like he's saying my last name. It sounds like he said he's in the sky." And then every once in a while, it would say something that sounded like Trump. And she would be like, "Why do you care about Trump so much?" If I was like, "Is she serious?" And it's funny when she talked about they bonded over their bad relationships with their mother. I said, "But each of you needed mommy when you made bad decisions." So go watch her. I'm sure. Yeah. Daisy. When this bill passes, I feel bad because I don't know what's going to happen. I feel bad for health centers, rural hospitals, people who really need the insurance and they're not going to be able to get it. But hopefully they can kick off people who don't need it, don't deserve it. But I'm concerned that people who do need it aren't are going to lose it because of the people who shouldn't have it. Hey, Fallon. I agree, Daisy May. Okay, so that's her name. That's her at. Go check her out. It's going to get real tight for a lot of people. Yeah, I'm worried too. I'm worried too. I was an executive at a health center for many years, and we saw people regardless of their ability to pay. But I would say 85% of our patients were on Medicaid. And because we were a health center, we were able to negotiate a rate so that the rate would also help us compensate for the people who couldn't pay. So because we were a health center, like that was our mission. So let's say a regular doctor's office might have gotten $60 for the visit. We might get 112 because that made up for the fact that we saw patients who couldn't afford to pay. So you are now going to add people to the roles who cannot pay, like even more, but you're not going to change the amount that you're paying per visit. So that's going to strap them. Say the same thing with hospitals. Hospitals get like a block grant, they get other things, and they get paid more for a Medicaid patient to pay for the patients who have nothing. And now there's going to be more patients with nothing. Yeah, American Girl, because Medicaid and Medicare usually pay a little bit more, well, a lot more than private insurance. And so it's real easy to commit fraud. But I'm concerned about like the babies born with an issue or born in the hospital with an issue and they have no insurance. And the hospital doesn't have any funding to provide them the service. But, we've gotten through worse. I keep reminding myself, we've gotten through worse. Let's see. Okay. if this is the last person I talk about, I'm going to talk about her. Now, she is not traditionally a scammer. Let me put that on the table first. But she gives me bad vibes, and I'm going to tell you why. She's like a self declared feminist. And I think part of that came from her DV situation. She was, according to her, she was recovering from hip surgery, I think. And in that moment, her partner, in her words, tried to unalive her. And she has photos on her GFM that are scary. So, but if you notice, it says, "Thank you in advance for donating to this cause. I am on TikTok to start a movement. However, right now, I'm in need of help. I need funds for a lawyer, bills, and to help me recover from this surgery. You can find me on TikTok, emailed, redacted, something journey." Now, I show you that. Wait a minute. Where is her photo? To show you that she doesn't look like that anymore. This is what she looks like now. So I don't know how long ago that happened, but that's the picture she has up for the GFM, not what she looks like now. I'm glad she's recovered. But what she did that threw me off, she had a live and she had a question to men like, why do we need you? So men would come up and they would get gaslit the entire time they were up. Now, do not get me wrong. When we were having that bear versus man discussion, I was having it with Mr. Didi, and I was like, I understand why women, like, I would show him videos and then be like, and this is why women picked bear. This is why women picked bear, because at least we know bear's intentions. Men will come along and act like they are knight in shining armor and then rip us to shreds and leave us for dead. Leave us for unalived. Let me make sure. Lord knows I don't need another violation. Right. She does it every day. And she has her people, and one woman in particular that drove me insane. Like, people would be like, well, why don't you need us? Well, we're not here to answer your questions. What? Or if, a man was like, I don't really understand what you mean by need. Well, go do some research and then come back. Or, and so anyway, I asked to get in the box because I had some things to say. I'm gonna leave that alone. So, guess what happened though? You know how it tells you like two people in front of you, seven people in front of you, whatever? I waited the four people. I waited six people. And then I'm like, when am I going to get my turn to get up? Can I get up? Can I get in the box? I've been waiting. And then at some point, I realized she was chicken shit and she wasn't going to let me in the box. Why? I don't know. Someone else told me about her, and I'm sorry that I can't remember who you are. But they were like, go check her out. And I had time, and I went and checked her out. And I had some things to say. And her little friend in the box, I would have told her to shut up because I'm speaking now. You've had all this time to be disrespectful to the people y'all let in the box, but they can't speak. And when they ask a question, okay. Yeah, the lights aren't working. Um, of course she wants money. And because at the end, she would be like, go to my account in my link tree and go donate. She directed everybody from her box into her GFM. Or wait a minute, and because oh, thank you, I pulled up the link tree because of course I did. Why? Oh, no problem, Joanne. Listen, what do I tell y'all? You do not have to apologize for anything. Real life always takes precedence. You think after I get off this live, I'm not going to sleep? Me and White Sox is gonna be cuddled up together, knocked out. So don't worry. She's from your state. This is her. This is her link tree. Look at her name on Cash App. Then she has and now you could tell that that donate to Ashley is from her GFM. I don't know how long you're gonna be able to watch her because they're not being intellectually honest. They ask a question, they then and then there's a man in there also gaslighting them. For what? What would I be getting reported for? I don't care. Report me. By the way, if this account gets, bananas for a week, I'm not going to not go live. My other account is Digital Deceivers Expose. I'm going to comment so that you guys can all go follow it. This is me. Can somebody pin this for me, please? That's my other account. I'll just go live there. I don't have as many followers, but I have enough to go live. So go follow that account. By the way, I have reached my follow limits. I am trying to go through and unfollow people who don't follow me unless it's an account I really want to follow. That's important to me. So if I can't follow you back here, try that account because I know that at some point I'm just gonna hit the limit and I'm not gonna be able to follow anybody back. So follow that account if I'm not following you here. White Sox is trying to send me a gift from my other phone. Thank you, buddy. Go back to. So if you guys get a minute, go check her out. It's just she tries to do this quote unquote daily conversation, and in my opinion, it is all a front to beg for money. That's it. It's all a front to beg for money. And to use men because of what the man did to her, which I do think is deplorable. And I support domestic violence advocacy and all of that. But she's not living in a hotel. What you mean bills? So you mean to tell me again, until you start getting paid for something, it's a hobby. So if you want this to be your podcast, for instance, work until it becomes successful. I don't know how it would ever be successful because, again, it's not intellectually honest, and you don't treat your guests the way she treats her guests. What do you mean they can't ask you a question? And she'll be like, I'm not here to make you comfortable. So why do you let men up? You don't want to hear anything they have to say unless they're kissing your ass. But again, though, also, if you were being intellectually honest, you would let everybody in the box. Why you didn't let me in the box? So anyway, go check her out. And y'all come back and tell me what you think. Some of y'all might agree with her style. I just don't. It's just off for me. Okay, I got time for the one last. Her name is Elena. Her at and her name is Heartbreaker underscore risk taker, which I'm gonna be honest, I actually like. I love her name. I think it's adorable. Scammy wars. Correct. They don't want to be clocked. They want to be able, they only want the echo chamber. And that's it. Anybody who disagrees, has a question, questions their thought process, their morality, their whatever. And by the way, she's not living, by the last woman, she's not living poor. But Elena, now, Elena let me in the box. And y'all know when I go in the box, I am respectful. I'd like to think that I was kind, but I'm also pointed in my questions. Like, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. Never. Never gonna do that. But I'm not gonna be mean about it either. So she says she only gets $66 in food stamps, right? We know that things like food stamps are income and family size based. So if you have to feed your brother and your sister, then they should be on your needs application, right? The moment I started, I got blocked. Shay did the same thing to me last night. When I was like, you started off needing toilet paper and then it was shoes. And she was like, block her, block her, block her. For what? Am I lying? She didn't even let me get to, and then you wanted your electric bill to get paid. But I've never seen you leave the house. Like, what's the long term plan? You got kids. But in Elena's case, what you blocked me for? Was I lying? Or was I going to expose the fact that if you're only getting $66, that means that either you have money or you're lying? Because technically speaking, food stamps are supposed to be a household thing. And you want to know why I know it? Because when you apply, they ask who else lives in the home, even if they're not linked to you familially, even if they're not linked to you financially. They want to know everybody in the home. And if you have all these people in your home who, one, I think she said her sister has lupus, epilepsy, something. But the other people in the home are also physically diminished in some way. Why don't all of y'all have it? She has decided that becoming a TikTok beggar is easier than getting a job. Right, Kayla? I filled out food stamp forms before. And that's the problem. A lot of the people who donate have never had it. They don't understand how it works. And so they hear $66 in this economy isn't enough. Of course it's not. But something's not right about the fact that it's only $66. So she dropped me and blocked me as if I can't get back in there. No, there is no shame in seeking assistance. Not at all. I haven't said it in a while, but I used to say all the time, if you qualify for it, go get it. That's what it's there for. For just you, you got 191 a month. But Elena only gets 66. Why? Now, different states have different amounts. I get it, but there's a reason. And if you want help, then you have to be transparent. But they don't want to be transparent because being transparent means that they've been lying. It means that they've been lying. But Kayla, that's assuming that 66 is the real number. Jules, you get 291. Do you have children? Right, Brenda grows because the amount of your unemployment was considered too high. No, you don't have to be sorry. It's just another point of view. That's it. You don't have to be sorry. It's just a different point of view. You get 16. I'm sorry. Oh, wow, Jules. I'm sorry. I hope you can heal enough that you still feel like you have a full life. I don't know if it's a permanent disability or just something you have to get through. But anyway, that was the life for today. Wow, Fendi, that's not a lot for 4 kids, I'm gonna tell you. Joanne, I'm sorry. It's not a fair system because while it is 50% federally funded, it is also 50% state funded, which allows the states to create their own rules and amounts. Yeah, yeah, football head. It's an unequal system. Some of it definitely depends on where you live. And so it's funny because in some realm we all want to stand up and say states rights. But to me there's some things that should just be federal. It shouldn't matter. But it's not. So I think education should be federal. That way, no matter where you live in the country and no matter how much money you have, everybody gets the same education. You shouldn't have a weaker education because you live in a poor area. But because states get to control that, they spend the money where the taxes are. I think it should be federal. I know, Mama Bear, I'm fading and I'm sitting straight up. But I thank you all for coming and hearing me. We will be live again Wednesday morning at 6:30 a.m. Friday will be 10 a.m. That way we can change our alarms and get a little bit of rest. But we can be done before we have to start cooking. And by the way, if you're cooking, you can't tap, you can't, you know, participate in the chat. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. It's about getting the information out for me. And y'all know I honestly don't even care about the likes at the end of the day. But I know that it helps me get out to the FYP. That's why it's so important. But I appreciate you all. Thank you, my mods. Thank you for the poll. I appreciate you. Please hug your loved ones because tomorrow isn't promised for sure. And also make sure you do some self-care. I love you guys too. Believe me, when some of these people get on my nerves, I'm like, I gotta be able to talk about it. You gotta stay. There's already so many of them that I don't want to start watching. Like Nick Harris, I can't do it. Just can't do it. But self-care, 15 minutes a day. If not, do 5. If not, do 1. But take some time for yourself. Whether it's deep breathing, listening to a meditation, reading self help, not self, yeah, reading a self help book, listening to music. And I know some moms have a hard time. Go in the bathroom, lock the door, turn the light off, and just listen to some music. Let the kids call you for a minute. It's okay. As long as none of them are hurt, screaming and crying, it's okay for them to call mommy for a minute. Oh, good morning, Scam Opera, just as I'm leaving. Hey, Rammer Jammer. Well, you guys know I'll be in the streets, or I'll see you Wednesday morning. Everybody have a fantastic week. Have a great start to your week today on Monday. And White Sox and I are going to go take a nap. Hopefully, him and Kira don't decide that it's time for me to wake up. Crying isn't an emergency. That is true. You ready to take a nap, buddy, or you done just slept for 3 hours? Well, no, we're going to sleep. Okay. This is why I don't talk to you. Oh, it's 5:30. Well, thank you. Thank you for waking up with me. I appreciate it. But Friday will be 10 a.m. So hopefully it'll allow people who usually miss it to come in. And maybe we'll get some new people who've never heard me before. That's always the goal. Everybody have a fantastic day. And I'll see you in the streets or on Wednesday morning. I'm out.